Welcome to Redeemer Presbyterian Church. There are a couple of announcements we need to read before we proceed with comedy. First of all, if some of you could move up a little bit closer to let the latecomers come in the back, we'd greatly appreciate that. Well, just as a reminder, the Christian Outing Club 4,000-mile dog sled race, 2 polar ice caps, will be leaving this Sunday from 42nd Street to 5th Avenue. Please don't be late and do dress warmly. Secondarily, the codependent support group meetings have been canceled for the rest of the year because everyone has left and moved back in with their parents. Another important reminder, if you haven't signed up yet, the Christian Outing Club 10-day hike through the Sierra Desert without water has a couple of slots left. Now, and for those of you who know, Redeemer is moving again. Starting July 1st, we'll be meeting at Madison Square Garden. Elaine Rollogas will be conducting traffic. Except for 2 Sundays in August, we'll be meeting back here. And one Sunday in October, we'll be going back to Hunter. And then for 3 Sundays in December, we'll be meeting at the Cloisters. Is that all right? Another important announcement, 3 newly elected deacons, Alan Farhi, Tom Whitford, and Tony Rose, will be teaching a special course on how you can be humble, self-sacrificing, available to others, very loving, and still be completely unaware of your own righteousness. And one last important announcement, the Christian Outing Club will be renting the space shuttle this year for the annual round the world champagne cruise. It worked so well last year, they have to do it again. Okay, now, Dr. Keller will come and prepare us for laughter.
The Falcon Beak has an extra notch near the tip to give extra gripping power and to help in administering a killing bite, or coup de grace, to the base of the skull. A Falcon characteristic not shared by the hawks and their allies. Unlike the hawks, the falcons exhibit no real nest-building behavior, simply laying their eggs into a ledge or the abandoned nest of another bird. The sequence in which the flight feathers are shed during molt is also different from the falcons to the hawks. Last and strangest of these distinctions is the fact that adult hawks squirt their droppings away from the perch, while the falcons and caracas, they drop straight down beneath it. And this is the word of glory. Well, now if you're like me, you read this and you say, what on earth is the author getting at? What is he trying to tell us? What does he have to say to us? So falcons are different from hawks. So what? Any zoologist could tell you that. That's good news. I mean, is that really? Okay, 3 points. 3 things that we need to draw from this passage. We're going to live lives of courage. 3 points, we're going to go over them. It's going to be point number 1, and then point number 2, and point number 3. Okay, 3 points. Okay, now I know firstly, I know many of you come here tonight thinking, you know, this is fine, this part of the service, it's okay, but let's get it over with. What I really came for is the invitation of the pastors. Now, I know many of you think that because I talk to you. And if you're thinking that, you miss out. You miss out, and I'm going to try and tell you why. You miss out because laughter, you see, laughter can come upon you at any time during the service. If you're open to it, laughter could come upon you right now, at any time, not just during the invitations of the pastors, okay? At any time, okay? You could walk out of here a changed man or a changed woman, excuse me, a changed woman or a changed man. So the laughter that could come at any time. You know, Flannery O'Connor, who many of you know, is the greatest writer who ever lived. Flannery O'Connor put it this way. Listen. She said, those eyes of Biff, they just keep looking at you. Those Biff eyes keep piercing you. Okay. Christian friends, can you hear that? All right. The point is, Christians are buoyant. Christians are buoyant. You put them down and they come back up again. Now, many of you, I don't know, let's have a show of hands. I think this must have been about a year ago. I did a series of teachings on marriage. How many of you were here for that? Raise your hand. Okay, those of you who remember, who were here for that, you remember number 413 in that series. In which I likened marriage to eating asparagus with hollandaise sauce while crossing the Triborough Bridge in the wrong lane. You see, Christianity does not soft pedal life. It's about life. You've got to see that. Don't you see? Christianity is not an argument. It has an argument. It's not a philosophy, though. It has a philosophy. It's not a sociology or psychology, although it does it have a paleontology? Sure it does. This is not a paleontology. Does it have a cryptomorphology? Sure it does. That's very good cryptomorphology. But it is not a cryptomorphology. Many people would just like to make it simply a cryptomorphology. Okay. Finally, and I'll conclude very briefly now. Finally, if you've come here tonight and you don't know what I'm talking about, if it doesn't make sense to you at all, well, I would simply ask you if you've ever really considered the difference between falcons and hawks. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, so what? I molt a little differently. So what's the big deal? Have you ever really grappled with that issue? Okay, and finally, Christian friends, falcons are different than hawks. Are you living that way? Lastly to everybody, I want to thank you very much for coming, and please enjoy the show.
And now, another Redeemer audio bulletin.
Single white female seeks same to share lovely 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment on Upper East Side. Must be non-smoker, clean, dependable, familiar with Augustine's Confessions, thoroughly versed in Calvin's Institutes, and be able to define and explain the scriptural basis for covenant theology and infant baptism without making tasteless references to the Old Testament practice of circumcision. Belief in predestination is required, along with thorough knowledge of the Westminster Confession of Faith. Knowledge of the Westminster Shorter Catechism is a major plus, although familiarity with the Heidelberg Catechism will be acceptable. Be prepared to answer questions on all points listed above, including a definition and defense of Christian liberty. Call the number listed between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. No evening calls, as I am always at one Bible study or another. Ask for grace. By the way, I hate cats.
Oh, Christian. Glad you're here. We're just about to discuss the new development project. So, we tear down the rec center, and then we tear down the school, and we put the new hotel right here. Now, that's the cash cow that won't fit. Then we divert the highway through the old nursing home, and we pave through the park. Now, the finances will be proceeded through an MTV teen-targeted cigarette spot. Are you with me?
There is something wrong about it.
What? Wrong? What could possibly be wrong with this? Why, this is the finest economic opportunity this company has ever had. Well, the profit is thick as butter. This plan is foolproof. What could possibly be wrong?
But Master Keller, what my business does is none of my business. I've got to earn a living. I'm just there to do a good job.
You know, there are more heavens than your earth that are dreamt of in all of philosophy, Horatio.
Ah, I see. So I should change my name to Horatio.
No, your name is Field Closer. And it should remain Field Closer until you can snatch the meaning from my sermon. And then it will be time for you to leave.
Ah, I see. So I should just do what I'm doing and not think about things?
Now listen.
Oh, Christian, don't just stand there like you're in one of your flashbacks. What do you mean there's something wrong?
Well, what I mean is, it's wrong to tear down that school and rec center. It would destroy the community. And I know that park. It's the only place for the little kids to play. And well, gosh darn it, teenagers should not be smoking cigarettes.
This is a business decision. Would you leave your moralizing at church? We've got to feed our families.
Hey, what if Chris is right?
Oh yeah. Well, there are more heavens in your earth than in your dreams, Horatio.
Christian, I've tolerated your bare feet, your sudden flashbacks, but this time you've really gone and done it. You better have some sound alternatives to propose to this project. Well, that's astounding. I always thought nice guys finish last. You know, Christian, that's fascinating. You really made me think. But you're fired.
Well, that was really fun, Chris. why don't you come inside and let me rub your feet? I know they must be sore.
There's something not right about it.
How come we're not sleeping together? I mean, we've been going on for nearly 3 weeks now. Are you gay?
Well, you dream about heaven and earth more than philosophy, Horatio.
Huh? What's Horatio?
But Master Keller, if two people are consenting adults, who does it hurt for them to sleep with one another?
Always read the directions when you buy a new appliance.
So let me get this straight. As long as we use an appliance to have sex, then it's okay?
Yet, deal closer. When you can finally snatch the meaning from my sermon, then it will be time for you to leave.
Well, you see, Dee, I don't think we were made to be intimate with each other outside of the lifelong commitment. We would just be misusing each other.
That is a very interesting idea. But I never want to see you again, you prude. You probably just can't. And I'm sick of hearing about your Bible. Why don't you go and learn where it's written, girls just want to have fun.
Oh, Chris, I'm glad I found you. Listen. Remember that board meeting a year ago, the one where you got fired?
Yeah, vaguely.
No, listen. You took a stand that day, and it made me think. As a matter of fact, it was the beginning of a big change in my life, and I want to talk with you about it some more. But that's not why I'm looking for you. You see, Smogweed has left, and, well, now I'm the president of the company. And you know, Chris, I'd like for you to be the development project head, to head up development. Now, what do you say?
Well, sometimes Earth's way is a dream and Heaven's way is real. That's my philosophy, I think. But Master Keller, I might lose all if I follow Christ.
Listen, God would know what to ask if you knew what he knew about knowing what you would ask if he were you.
Get whatever I want?
Listen, deal closer. We've been trying to get rid of you for years, and nothing works. Now here, this is your final test. I want you to carry this offering basket to the diagonal. It holds $5 million. Now that's half of our next year's budget. You're going to get the carry to the diagonal, but whatever you do, don't touch the money.
There's just one other question that I do want to ask you. Where are you from?
I have been through Redeemer.
Hi. Are you lonely? Feeling depressed? Do you feel left out because you're a dispensationalist? Lost in a sea of Reformed theology? Do you need someone to talk to who will understand and share your views on the millennium? Then call me, Buffy, on the dispensational hotline. We can go one-on-one and talk about theology from your special standpoint. I'll understand if you don't want to accept more than 4 points of Calvinism. And like you, I think that immersion is much more gratifying than sprinkling. We can discuss any doctrine you like, and can even take pot shots at infant baptism. Or, if you feel the need to interact with the group, join in our Rapture party line. You can talk with several people at once. Listen to others as they tell what they think the mark of the beast is. And add your own comments as you all try to figure out just who is the great whore of Babylon. Eschatology has never been hotter. So remember, for one-on-one discourses on dispensationalism, call 1-900-PRE-MILL. That's 1-900-PREMILL. Or, for group interaction, call our Rapture Party line at 1-900-PRE-TRIP. That's 1-900-PRETRIB. But call now, because fellowship is as close as your telephone.
All calls are 95 cents per minute, must be 18 years of age or older.
Welcome to Pharaoh's Technotronic Town Hall Bible Study. Now, when I talked to you last fall, and I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you who voted for me last fall. When I spoke to you last fall, I warned you about our terrible national budget deficit, which is over $4 trillion and growing, as represented by this squiggly black line right here. But even more disturbing than our budget deficit, more outlandish than our do-nothing Congress, more hyenas than our Texan spending economy, is our ever-expanding moral deficit. Now here on this chart here, I've outlined the federal deficit in black, the number of congressmen of widely deficit in green, and our moral deficit. As you can see, the moral deficit is 10 times as bad as the federal deficit. Now, even though I'm just one man and I'm rich enough to pay for most of the deficit myself, and even though I can buy new Congress with law allowed, I can't solve the moral deficit all by myself. That's where you come in, where I've begun Pharaoh's Technotronic Town Hall Bible Study. Tonight, we begin with the book of Aziel. Now let me set the stage. The Israelites have been living in the land of Goshen. You may recall, Goshen was a land with a deficit. No produce, no exports. Just plenty of cheap labor. Kind of like so boss like to be. Now back there in Egypt, they had themselves a president. Well, it wasn't called president, his name was Pharaoh. Now keep in mind, this is long before the long dynasty of tax and spend pharaohs. This is a supply side pharaoh. Now the Israelites have been looking at all that fine opportunity in the land of Egypt that they couldn't get because of the pharaonic gridlock. Now they were looking at that, they grew mighty envious. So they let themselves a leader named Moses. Now Moses, as you may recall, used to be in the Egyptian Navy, but he got sick of it and he quit. So went out and got himself a job tending sheep in the meadow with Jethro. Now as you may recall, Jethro's chief export was chicken dung. Now Pharaoh had no desire to change his nation into a nation of chicken pluckers. So he left Moses alone. Moses heard the call of God, heard his people suffering, and he went to Pharaoh. And what did he say?
Let my people go.
That's right, that's right. You said that. Right there, Elaine, right up here. Here you go, right there. Hey. But you know that participation is totally voluntary. Now, Moses went to Pharaoh, and he sent a series of plagues. First, plague of frogs. Right there. Didn't work. Moses went back to Pharaoh, who cursed on his firstborn. Pharaoh said, I'm all ears. Now what the Bible don't tell you is that Moses had a little trick up his sleeve. See, back then in Egyptian times, Egyptians have been investing for years in infrastructure, a very advanced technological society. Moses had a stela. Now, for those of you who don't know a stela, it's a Kodak color picture in Egyptian times. Now, Pharaoh's daughter was about to get married. Pharaoh had made these great plans to have his daughter have a great wedding. But Moses had a picture of Pharaoh's daughter dressed like she was from Gomorrah. Finally, Pharaoh dropped down the race and said, I'm out. Then Moses began to lead the Israelites out of the land of Egypt. Pharaoh began to think about that fine supply of solution. He said, I'm in. And he pursued the Israelites to the Red Sea, where, being smart Pharaoh, he sent his vice presidential candidate in there. Forgot what he was doing, he got swallowed up in the water. Now, as you may recall, and as I know you've all personally experienced, mankind continues to suffer in sin. And we read in the Bible, what? A sacrifice is required to pay for the sins of man. I've had my people and Pharaoh's sisters with the